What is it? What are they? What's the difference between folate and folic acid? Do we need it? Does it impact fertility? We're going to cover all of that. Thanks for clicking on Simply Tanika. I am Tanika. If you are new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. Let's hang out a while. If you are returning, welcome back. What's up, fertility fam? We gotta do what? Let's get those babies, ladies. Drops fall and the beauty of it all. What's up, fertility fam? How are you? Thank you so much for clicking on this video. As you can tell by the title, today we're going to talk about folate and folic acid. What is it? What are they? What's the difference between folate and folic acid? Do we need it? Does it impact fertility? We're going to cover all of that. So let's just jump right in. All right. So what is folate? What is folic acid? We see it a lot where they're both used interchangeably, but are they the same thing? No. They are not. They're both in the B vitamin family. They do have that in common, but they are metabolized differently. And that's the major difference between the two. So folic acid is synthetic and folate occurs naturally in food products. There's a little bit of folic acid that occurs in food products, but a very, very tiny bit. So why was folic acid created? Why do we need a synthetic version of it? Well, it was determined that pregnant women needed folate during pregnancy to help prevent neural tube defects. However, folate is not heat stable. So in order to mass produce it, so here in the US, it's in cereals. You'll see fortified cereals. It's in those cereals. It needed to have a heat stable form. So that is where folic acid, the synthetic version, was created. It's heat stable. It can sit on a shelf, unlike folate, which is found in leafy vegetables, legumes, sprouts. The more you manipulate it, the less folate it has in it. It decreases it. So if you spinach, if you're cooking the spinach, it's reducing the amount of folate in there. If you're doing a lot of chopping, for those of you who like chopped salads of the spinach, it's reducing the amount of folate in there. So a stable form of that was the folic acid. So that was created to help women, everyone, have it in their diet. Okay, so does that make sense? All right. What else do I want to say about it? I'm looking at my little note cards. Yeah, they're both similar types of the vitamin B. Also, the process, one more thing, the process of converting them to the active form of folate, which is L-methylfolate or 5-MTHF, is different in the body. So that's a key difference. So first difference is one synthetic, one is natural. Second difference is how the body metabolizes it, how it uses it, basically. Once it is metabolized and converted to folate, assuming that you can, we'll get into that a little bit later, it can be transported into cells and can even cross your blood-brain barrier, which not all supplements, medications, and things can. So that's interesting because it can affect your mood, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Why do we need it? Why do we need it? And is it better to have folic acid or folate, or is it the same if we have both of them? So key takeaways. Not enough folate means not enough red blood cells, which can affect your energy and a lot of other things happening in your body. So you want to make sure you have enough folate in your body. So remember, the folic acid would have to be converted to folate once it gets in the body. And even folate that we consume also has to be converted. I'll go into that in a little bit. So it sounds simple enough, right? We could take folic acid, we could take folate. It sounds like we'll be good, we'll get everything we need. However, 40% of us do not metabolize folic acid. 40%, almost half, that's a lot, right? The reason why we have trouble metabolizing it is we have some sort of gene variation that makes it harder for us to use folic acid. So there's a gene mutation, there's a couple of them. You have to be tested by a doctor to determine if you have it, but it can kind of wreak havoc in your system, and you may not really know. It may not be obvious that you have it, so it's good to get a blood test for it. So why is folate important? We know they're B vitamins, they help with stress, they help with our red blood cells, but why do we really need it? So as I mentioned, it's best known for supporting, preventing neural tube defects in pregnant women, which is super important. For non-pregnant women, is it important? Yes, it is. I'm glad you asked. It's involved in multiple life-sustaining processes, including DNA synthesis. Sounds important, right? Without enough of this nutrient, the neurotransmitters that regulate your mood get lazy. So you might suffer from anxiety, you might suffer from depression if you don't have enough folate in your body. So how should we get our folate? The best dietary source of natural folate is leafy green vegetables, like I said. Yeast, legumes, sprouts like bean sprouts, active sprouts are the best. Again, they can easily be degraded with food prep and with cooking. So the more they're manipulated, the more they're heated up, the level of folate in them degrades. So you're getting less and less of it. So sometimes you want to take a supplement if your body can process it. Does the form matter? Does it matter if we get folate? Does it matter if we get folic acid? Does it matter how many, leafy vegetables we eat? So dietary folate forms are either natural or synthesized, but that's not the real problem. The chemical form of folate, which is folic acid, is the real potential troublemaker. Aha! Aha! It's used in many supplements because it is highly stable. It's better at entering your intestinal cells than natural folate. But that's where the upside of folic acid ends, right? That's where the upside. So it's highly stable, can withstand heat. It's not going to degrade with heat or manipulation. And it's better at entering your intestinal cells than natural folate. So it's got those two things up on folate, right? The synthetic form, folic acid. However, once folic acid enters a cell, it's got to be converted. It's got to be converted into something else. That's the metabolization that I'm talking about. It's got to be converted into 6S5 methyl tetrahydrate folate, or MTHF. 6S5 methyl tetrahydrolate folate, or MTHF. So how does that happen? It needs several key enzymes in there to make that happen before your body can use it. So you've consumed it, now things have got to happen to it. Here's the problem. Not only is the first step of that enzyme transformation sluggish, that's the first problem. As I mentioned before, it's also that up to 40% of us can't process it. So it's sluggish, takes a long time, and for some of it, it's not going to happen at all because our bodies can't process it. Up to 40% of women carry that gene variant that hinders the last step of conversion. So almost half of us are going to struggle to get the full benefits of folate from folic acid. So most supplements that have folic acid, our prenatals and everything else, might not be effective for you. So all the good reasons to take it, you're taking it and being a good egg to get your good eggs, and your body is like, at that last step, it can't process it. So you're not fully getting all the goodness from it. It's no surprise that if you have a gene variation that prevents you from metabolizing folic acid and converting it into methylated folate in your body, that you're at risk. You're at risk of having decreased levels. What does all that mean? What happens if we have decreased levels? What's going on? So the conversion, we talked about it, or it's being metabolized, the conversion from both folate and folic acid into methylated folate is called the methylation cycle. So it's like all of these, B vitamins, all of these B vitamins are being converted, and that's your methylated cycle. Once through the methylation, or the B vitamin cycle, our bodies use methyl groups to make healthy cells and neurotransmitters, which impacts our mood, our brain, as well as removing toxins in the liver, fighting infections, and protecting us from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress. Anybody trying to have a baby knows we have to try and reduce our oxidative stress. That helps reduce the aging impact on our eggs. All that oxidative stress just stresses our cells out. Our eggs are our largest cells in our body. So folate helps protect us from oxidative stress. Sounds like a good thing to have if you're TTC, right? All right. Also, you hear, I don't know if you guys remember, people would get shots, like B vitamin shots, like to help reduce their stress. Just in general, the B vitamin family is supposed to help reduce our overall stress. It's supposed to make us feel better. So kind of all that makes sense, right? It ties into things that we've heard about the B vitamin group, that all being methylated. So we've heard about it kind of like tangentially, but never, or possibly you haven't, a lot of us have not tied it to, oh, it's how my body is processing these vitamins. It's not just getting the vitamins, because I always thought, well, if I take the supplement, it's in, I'm good. It depends on the type of the supplement that you're taking. All right, so understanding the methylation cycle. Specifically, research shows that decreased function of the enzymes in the methylation cycle can affect your heart and increase your risk of heart disease, cancer, chronic fatigue, mood disorder, so anxiety, depression, diabetes, and aging in general. So that's something I'm working on, right? I mean, obviously I'm aging, we're all aging, but as an advanced maternal age TTCer, I have to worry about the impact of like aging, oxidative stress, what impact that has on my cells, and the decline of my fertility. So obviously getting folate is important, methylated folate. So methylation is important for, wait for it, mitochondrial function and energy production. I'm taking ubiquinol, right, to help give my mitochondria energy. Folate also supports mitochondrial function, so they kind of go hand in hand, right? If you have low mitochondrial function and low methylation, it can lead to low energy. It can lead to low thyroid function. It can decrease memory. There's a whole host of it. I'll put a link to this article in the description box below so you can read it for yourself. But clearly, it's important. We need our mitochondrial function, good mood. We know TTC is already stressful, so if this can help kind of reduce the stress or help us balance it, I suffer from anxiety. If it can help me reduce my anxiety, like one of the tools in my toolkit, of course, like I'm all over it, right? Methylation also affects your neurotransmitter levels. We said that can lead to anxiety and depression. It can lead to immune dysfunction, including the likelihood that you'll experience allergies in the spring. It affects your liver detoxification, which has to do with how your body gets rid of toxins. So again, we're detoxing a lot. We're worried about oxidization. We don't want those toxins in our eggs or in our body as we're preparing to have a baby. So all good things. It also can impact your overall fertility, including increasing your risk of miscarriage. Crazy, right? I've had 2 of them, and I'm just now finding out about this methylated folate. Shame on me, but better late than never. Methylation also influences the production of glutathione. If you've seen any of my other supplement videos, you've heard me talk about glutathione. It is the Superman, Wonder Woman of all antioxidants in our body, and this helps influence the production of glutathione. Glutathione is not only an antioxidant, it's a protector of cells. It's something that you can't take as a supplement. Oral glutathione is not metabolized at all in the body. It will, your stomach acid, it goes wah, 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 and it's all gone. So anything you can do to increase your natural glutathione production is good while you're TTC. So ultimately, methylation affects the ability of your body to make new healthy cells. And our eggs are what? Giant cells. They're our largest cell in our body, so we want to keep them new, healthy, shiny. And I know what you're thinking, well, they're not new because we were born with them all. Yes, but they've been sleeping. They are in their primordial phase until they're called to action, like the 90 days before we ovulate them, right? So they're like, hello, get ready. And then they kind of wake up. So as long as you're giving them food for the mitochondria, like with the ubiquinol, and helping support all their mitochondrial function, like with this folate, then, and helping them be like, it's works with your DNA, your RNA, and helping them be healthy, gives us a better chance. Gives us a better chance so that when we wake them up, they're like, hey, I got you. Does that make sense? All right. There are some enzymes that are involved in methylation cycle. I'm going to list 2 because these seem to be like the 2est largest populations of like when people do have that gene variant that keeps them from metabolizing the folic acid. So MTHFR, and it stands for methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. So MTHF is the methylene tetrahydrofolate. Say that three times fast. And then reductase. So that's your ability to metabolize the methyl tetrahydrofolate. It converts folic acid to methylfolate, or 5-MTHF, or B9. How does it do that? It does it by using B2. Remember that B family methylation cycle? And then the other one I want to mention is CBS, not the television station here in America. It removes homocysteine from the methylation cycle using B6 and converts it into cysteine and glutathione. That glutathione keeps coming back. So those are, you know, some of what's happening as far as in your body, how it's processing folate and folic acid and how that kind of benefits you. And then what about your fertility? So what is the research between fertility, or what is the research about the relationship between fertility and folate? I'm glad you asked. So let's go through it again. Folate is required for the synthesis of DNA, transfer of RNA, cysteine, and I'm going to butcher this, methionine, I'll spell it down here for you, which are required during periods of rapid cell growth. When are cells growing rapidly in a woman's body? Oh, right, when she's making a baby. Given the perioconceptual period is a time of cellular growth, so periconceptual also before you conceive, which is where we are right now, right? We're right before we're going to conceive, most of us. Some of us already got our BFP. Congrats to you, ladies. Given that that is a time of rapid cell growth, folate supplementation may improve reproductive outcomes. So in a prospective cohort study of 232 women, live birth rates in women undergoing IVF were 20% higher among women with the highest amount of supplemental folate intake, which they're counting as greater than 800 micrograms a day, compared to women taking the lowest amount, which is less than 400 micrograms. The ones who were taking the larger amount had a 20% higher live birth rate percentage, 20% higher live birth rates. So it also suggests that folate supplementation was superior to dietary folate. So they were taking dietary folate as well as supplementation. Where's mine? I'm taking these now. That's the L-methylfolate, and I'm taking 1,000 micrograms. I did do research. The measurement's going to be the same for the folic acid or for the folate. However, the folate is going to be, I don't want to say more impactful. It's going to be easier for your body to process. It's going to be easier for your body to metabolize and turn into methylated folate, right? So it's not like ubiquinol and CoQ10, or ubiquinol and ubiquinone, because they're both CoQ10. It's not like the ubiquinone, which it has to do one more conversion. And so the recommendation is if you like 100 milligrams of ubiquinone, 300 milligrams of ubiquinone is like the equivalent of 100 of ubiquinol. Ubiquinol is more powerful and more potent because it's already had that one conversion, where the ubiquinone has to do, your body has to do more of a conversion, so it needs more of the supplement. Does that make sense? If not, I have a whole video on, I'll put it somewhere over here, ubiquinol, CoQ10, and DHEA, which if you haven't heard of that drug, none of that makes any sense. At any rate, dosing for folate and folic acid, I'm so easily distracted, which was my point, is the same. So in this study, 800 micrograms or more a day for women undergoing IVF, they had a 20% higher birth rate than women who were taking 400 or less. And in the United States, it is the USDA recommendation that pregnant women or women trying to conceive take at least 400 micrograms a day, right? So this study, they were taking less than 400 micrograms. So they weren't doing the minimum recommendation. So that could impact it as well. Like, had they taken the 400, would it have made a difference? Your call. Work with your healthcare professional. Get your levels tested before supplementing. Get your test done to make sure that you're actually, tell them you want to check for a mutation for your ability to process folate or to process MTHFR or to process, I want to say it right for you guys, sorry, methylene tetrahydrofolate. If you have the enzyme reductase or MTHFR, methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase, if you have that enzyme, which will help you process the folate. Hopefully that makes sense. And then lastly, let's see. There was also another study done in the Netherlands that doubling the follicular folate level was associated with 3-fold increase in pregnancy. So from that data, women should be advised to take 800 micrograms of folate during fertility treatments and throughout pregnancy. So I'm taking 1,000. Consult with your healthcare providers, you know, so everyone's on the same page. All right, why do you need at least a month of supplementation before getting pregnant? So we know when we're TTC, like our cells, our egg cells are about 90 days of prepping as they come out of their primordial state and prepare to be ovulated. These eggs do not necessarily need the folate that duration, although clearly with the help of the glutathione and the other like yummy things that are happening to our eggs from that, reducing oxidative stress and all that other stuff, it would be nice if we had it. However, the development of the egg itself is not dependent on it. What you need is to have the folate within your body so that by the time you are pregnant, it's already there, because neural tube is developing like at 4 or 5 weeks, which is right when you're going to miss your period. I think most of us who are actively TTC know that, but I just want to say that just in case you're new to TTC or not sure, you definitely want to have that in your system before you conceive. So before you ovulate, that, you know, again, by the time you're 4 weeks, that's just when you've missed your period. It's already developing. The neural tube is already developing. So the U.S. Public Health Service and the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecologists recommend all women capable of getting pregnant take 400 micrograms of folic acid daily, starting at least 1 month prior to pregnancy. Your OBGYN may recommend a higher dose depending on your specific health history. So that's why it's important to work with your doctor, your OBGYN, your RE, test your levels, see where you are, see how you're processing it. They may have to test it twice, like get a baseline for you, give you some folic acid supplements, and then do another test to see if it's had an impact or not. So work with your healthcare professional on that. All right, that is it. I'll put a link to all of these articles in the description box below. I will also put a link to this Optifolate that I got. I got it on Amazon. It will be an affiliate link, so I'll get a little bit of something. It doesn't cost you anything else, but it helps me, you know, keep my website going, keep the YouTube channel going, and all that fun stuff. So if you buy some, I thank you in advance. And if you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. I would love to hear your comments, questions, thoughts down below. Has anybody used it, had great success, had some miscarriages, and then started using it and got your rainbow baby? I would love to hear that. That is definitely what I'm hoping for. All right, I will talk to you ladies later. Bye. Baby, that's to us all.